So I guess I'll just kind of talk a little bit about what happened with EstherBot, why I built it, some of the things I learned, and go from there. So I built EstherBot. The startup I was working at, so I'm a product marketer. The startup I was working at was about to go out of business. We weren't able to secure funding for the next round. I'd been really interested in trying to build a bot, and I had been playing around with different frameworks, and I was trying to figure out what's an interesting use case, one that's not necessarily business oriented, but that's more consumer friendly, something that just kind of like everybody could relate to. And I felt like, well, a resume bot makes a lot of sense. And also I'm gonna be looking for a new job pretty soon. So, timing. So I built EstherBot on top of Smooch. I ended up open sourcing the code, and it was pretty cool. Almost 700 people have since forked it, and I've seen dozens of variations of people creating their own. So a couple of the things that I took out of that experience, constructing conversation flows is pretty tough, and people love personality, like GIFs and emoji and stickers, and I would see that because my initial bot was so basic, it couldn't really respond to those things. It'd just give you like the same answer and over again. People would just be like, oh, terrible. So then I implemented the action buttons, and I went from getting an average of 8 responses, like go between back and forth, and that went up to over 20. And so I saw buttons work. Just from like a really practical numbers standpoint. People stay engaged a lot longer. And also like the feedback I was getting was more positive. I put it on Facebook, SMS, and Telegram, and I did a series of like posts about it, and I got some press, and everyone landed on the same landing page where those 3 options were available. And it broke down to over 90% of people chose Messenger when given those 3 options, and I thought that was kind of interesting, and so I decided to go all in on building on Messenger for the V2, which you saw earlier today. Let's see. There were definitely a lot of people going off the rail and just trying to test it. Some of those conversations were interesting to see. I found scaling conversations is really challenging. Granted, it was just me behind the bot. So when there were dozens of people interacting with it in a day, it was challenging for me to then jump in. And there was a connect with me option. And so people had an expectation of an immediate answer. And so having some kind of guardrail there with here are the times or whatnot is what really motivated me to add that feature in Chris's. And just from like some random statistics standpoint, I ended up getting I got 8 interviews and 3 actual offers from jobs like Intercom, Smooch, a couple other companies, directly from the bot, like what I built. And them interacting with it. And so, yeah, I think that it proved that it's a use case that's actually viable, and there's something interesting here. So.